The European Commission has presented a new proposal to settle disputes between investors and states. It is supposed to replace the highly controversial ISDS within the EU-US trade deal. But is it really something new, or is it more of the same under a new name? ISDS, Investor-to-State Dispute Settlement, which is a mechanism where investors can bring charges against states, is by far the most controversial part of the trade deal currently being negotiated between the EU and the US. There has been major concerns from EU citizens that an ISDS would threaten European environmental and social standards. When the EU Commissioner for Trade, Cecilia Malmström, presented a new scheme on Wednesday called Investment Court System, she promised that the Commission had listened to these concerns.
And here I can provide assurances that the right to regulate will be fully respected and enshrined black on white in the legal text. It is clearly stated in the Commission's draft text that the right to regulate for public policy is fully preserved.
The Commission proposed to create a public investment court where judges are chosen by both the EU and the US. These judges are supposed to work under stricter conditions to avoid conflicts of interest, and it will be possible to appeal their decisions, which is not possible with the normal ISDS. The definition of what kind of cases that could be brought forward to the investment court should also be stricter, and governments' right to regulate shall be made clear. The proposal will now be sent to EU member states and the European Parliament. In the Parliament, the Socialists and Democrats, the SD, have had a decisive role, as the Greens and the Left have been against ISDS, while Conservatives and Liberals supported it. Bernd Lange, who is part of the SD and also chair of the Committee for International Trade, believes that the Commission's new ideas will be approved.
In principle, I think the Parliament can accept this approach because it's really based on our resolution from the 8th of July.
Before, Bernd Lange was against ISDS, but he says that what is now on the table is completely different.
It's a totally new system. The private arbitration system, ISDS, is dead.
However, NGOs which have been advocating scrapping ISDS are not satisfied. Some argue that the Commission proposal is only a cosmetic change. Pia Eberhardt at Corporate Europe Observatory says there are some improvements in the Commission proposal. The dispute settlement procedure is better and more transparent. But even so, she is still concerned.
But the fact that these lawsuits are inherently unjust by giving investors more rights to challenge regulation that they have in domestic constitutions, in EU law and in domestic courts is not at all affected by these procedural improvements. So the basic injustice and the basic question, why would you give foreign investors more rights than anyone else in a society, remains.
Trade Commissioner Cecilia Malmström disagrees. What she presented is really something new.
Of course, there are always people who are against the whole idea and who are against TTIP and are against free trade in general. Even if we said free ice cream for everybody, they would still not like the proposal. But I hope that the serious people can see that we have really tried to take on board the criticism. We have really changed the content.
Be it free ice cream or not, there's still some way to go before the new investment court could become a reality. The idea will have to be approved not only by member states and the European Parliament, but also by the Americans.